All right. Welcome, everybody, to this awesome kind of innovation hub unboxing session for the Enterprise Growth Alliance. I'm Uzair Dada. I'll be your host today. And we are super excited for this session. It's one of my favorite topics around how do we use awesome content to drive personalization as we do account-based marketing. With us, we have two awesome guests that I'm super excited about talking and doing this session with. We have Jason D, VP of Product at Uberflip. Jason, say hello.
Hi, Uzair and audience. Pleasure to be here today.
And we have Christina Conares. Christina is the go-to-market program manager at Uberflip. Christina.
Hi, everyone.
So we are going to be talking today about our favorite topic that you guys have learned to kind of talk about with us over the time is intent, and more important, layered intent. And for all of us ABM practitioners that are so excited about doing more and driving more personalized conversations, we all know one of the things we all struggle with is content. And content is such an important part of driving engagement, being respectful with our accounts and the different personas we talk to, and ensuring that we deliver a cohesive experience across the entire buying journey. But it's harder to do than it looks. And that's why we're sort of super excited about this discussion with the Uberflip team that have been working on some pretty awesome product advancements. I'm sure a lot of you guys know the content management category, and Uber's been around for a long time and doing some cool stuff, but they have some new products coming out which really take personalization to the next level. And what I'm even more excited about it is not just about marketing, it's about marketing and sales personalization, which is really what we really want to be thinking about, as we all know that ABM is not about marketing, but about a sales and marketing growth initiative. So with that, I sort of want to start with Jason and talk about, you guys have been pretty busy with evolving kind of what you do with marketers with your Uberflip solution. Maybe you can kind of start us off with kind of what are the core use cases that you guys are enabling, and kind of what's the next level of personalization look like?
Sure. So our focus here at Uberflip really, comes down to helping go-to-market organizations, as you said. We include both marketing professionals, sales professionals, customer success, kind of that whole, go-to-market stack within our umbrella of users. But fundamentally, we help that set of users understand what content is working for what audiences. If you think back to first principles of marketing, relevance should be fundamental to everything that you're trying to do, and relevance really is defined by, the right audience, the right time, right channels, and most importantly, the right content, i.e., the right story. And as a platform, we help you kind of match those together. More specifically, what we do in that ecosystem of matching, content to the most relevant audiences and understanding that is, we help to orchestrate the delivery of content. And what we mean by orchestration, as well as the delivery side of the content, is the presentation piece of that content. What we'll show you today are some new capabilities we've got from a marketing perspective. We've got a new what you see is what you get, or WYSIWYG web page designer that allows you to present content, collections, combinations of content in a more dynamic way. And likewise, for our sales counterparts, we've also extended our capabilities into the realm of the digital sales room, which is the same idea, albeit for a different user, a different use case, and a different area of the funnel, where you can use Uberflip as a flexible platform as a salesperson, a sales professional, to be able to present and package the most relevant content to the audiences that you're trying to go after. And underlying all of that, our foundation is acting as a central repository or command center, if you will, of all of your content, be that PDF, static content, through to your blog, article content, video, multimedia, what have you, all centrally housed in one location in one easy to use library.
So you use the infamous R word, which is relevance, right? Relevance is everything, and it's the thing that we struggle with the most. So in the world where, for our enterprise customers especially, we are got a plethora of intent tech that exists. We have our marketing operations platforms, we have our CRM stuff. We probably all use a combination of demand-based, 6sense, Zoom Info, Terminus, something out there. an ABM platform. We probably are using all kinds of content syndication tools that exist out there. All that is feeding awesome insights and actions. How are you guys sort of deriving relevance from those different components in my growth operating system to sort of advance what you all do, which is a very critical part of the engagement pathway?
Again, back to sort of my initial comment about first principles and relevance itself. There's no question that step one, step zero, you could argue, in the marketing, planning, strategy process is identifying who I want to talk to, identifying who my audience is. And if you think about what you're doing or how you're, identifying those audiences, regardless of the platform you're using, be it an intent provider through to maybe even, Facebook ad platform, is you identify based on persona. And those personas are based on different parameters, different attributes, if you will, firmographic, demographic, etc. And we have a very similar concept that we essentially mirror with our universal library of content in Uberflip. Logistically, we call it tags, but functionally, they act in the same way. We help you tag, again, your universal library of all of your content with similar attributes, be it persona, demographic, firmographic, etc. So when you're planning a campaign, you're planning an outreach that wants to hit this target, then you can likewise plan the story that you want to tell them vis-a-vis content using that same profile and using those same parameters through Uberflip. So that it ends up being kind of a one-to-one map of not just who you're trying to reach out to, but matching the story you want to tell to that audience, ultimately to derive the greatest amount of relevance across your entire campaign strategy.
That's awesome. That's super cool. So are we going to see some toys?
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that, why don't I kind of show you a little bit of what I mean? So this is, there you go, it's on the screen. This is our new, what you see is what you get web page designer here at Uberflip. And, most users have probably, or most of the audience is probably familiar with various web page building type tools. This just happens to be the one that we've deployed natively with and built natively within Uberflip. But if I reference back to the core fundamental of how we define relevance and where we work within your stack here at Uberflip, our core competency is managing our content. So right here, I've started off with a web page that has what we call a stream of content. And what I can then do is I can reference back now to my, again, universal library of content. So what you can see here is the backend library of Uberflip, where I've organized all of my content, and you can see I've structured it and categorized it in certain ways. So just for simplicity's sake, for this particular demo, as an example, I've got a bunch of marketing profs articles that I found were quite helpful, and they're all centered around how to. So in this case, in this particular use case, I want to deploy a campaign to marketers. Obviously, I'm using marketing profs content that helps them, with best practices of how they want to plan and execute their marketing campaigns. So if I select this pre-configured behind the scenes collection of content, then now, boom, I've got a web page that's got content sitting on it, and standard marketing practice, I can wrap that content with some copy to provide some context of maybe why you want to engage with this content, download, read this content, etc. But I can go beyond that. I can very quickly drop in maybe a value proposition. I can say, here's value proposition number one. With a little bit more detail, and then I can have a call to action, maybe book a demo with me. Whoops. Likewise, I can drop in some contextual information, and just for a little bit of whiz bang, maybe I want that contextual information to be an image of some interconnected planets, because as marketers, what we want to do is we want to interconnect the planets of all of our customers, of our ecosystem, and boom, look at that. It's even better than that. It's dynamic. It's a spinning GIF. It's an animation. So very quickly I can build out, and I can start to construct, if you will, this highly personalized experience that would be specific to that campaign objective, and in this case specific to that audience of marketers looking for best practices as to how they can plan their campaigns, and wrapping that with the look and feel of sort of industry standard expectations of what a website, what a personalized microsite destination, a personalized microsite experience should be for each and every one of those audiences that you're trying to reach out to. I sort of danced around through this. I whipped through it very quickly, but as an example of a completed page, here's an example of something that I built prior to this call when there was a little bit less pressure, had a little bit of time, and I could sort of enjoy my coffee and build something out. As you can see, personalized to have Uberflip, our value proposition, plus the target account. An introduction to the account representative, in this case, Ashley. I can book a meeting, link directly to her Calendly availability. Again, in this case, this is content specific to the value proposition, the value, some case studies, whatnot, of Uberflip, and why our approach to content can be more engaging. And then boom, walking you into more details of the value proposition, very tuned and highly personalized to this particular objective, this particular campaign. And all of this can be constructed in a matter of minutes at enormous scale, because as go-to-market professionals, you're probably targeting not just one account, but multiple accounts at a time. So with Uberflip, we allow you to engage in a more relevant conversation through content easily with these tools that allow you to deploy and distribute and orchestrate the distribution of your content in a more meaningful way.
Yes, I think two things that stand out. One, cool, super easy, super slick. To me, I get geeked out on the ease of pulling in the right content, because that's where most of us struggle. Like, what content is available? Holy shit, it's in G Drive. I can't freaking find it. The fact that you guys are allowing mass tagging for me to pull in information easily. And I'm assuming, based on what you showed, I can have templates created where someone doesn't even need to do what you were doing. I could have 80% of the stuff pre-baked, and I can only sort of customize the 20% I need to.
Correct, 100%. And what you can end up with is kind of your own personal library, if you will, of starting point templates for different objectives, different campaign types, etc. Again, our focus is on not just ease of use, because that's a bit of a platitude, but our focus is on the scalability for users to be able to ultimately selfishly use Uberflip for everything. And the implication there is creating hundreds, if not thousands, of these pages, which perhaps is a good segue into the other piece of the puzzle too that we'll get into in a little bit as well.
Yes, it is. So we talked about making lives easy for marketers, the ease of personalization, especially for account-based marketers. We all dream of having something specific for our different accounts. This seems like it's a pretty easy thing to do, and someone who can wrap their head around it. But then the infamous kind of the handoff to sales happens, right? So they get in, they're like, oh shit, now what do I do? What do I need to follow up on? This is great. You give me this insight. I'm getting, this is my marketing qualified account, because my demand base, or my 6QA account that's coming in, that's important. And now I need to follow up based on sort of the signals I have, based on the conversations I'm having. So Christina, help me. I'm a stuck sales guy. What do I do next?
So before we get into, you as a sales guy who's there, let's talk about a little bit about the buyer's journey.
Yes, totally.
So I'm going to talk to you about digital sales rooms. But if we go back to the buyer's journey, a statistic that Gartner put out is that 82% of the buyer's journey is actually done independently.
Yes.
Which means that about 43% of B2B buyers are doing their own research, and they want a seller-free sales experience. Right, so not to say that they don't want to talk to you, but if you think about,
You're telling me I don't have a job. You're telling me I don't have a job.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But if you think about your own personal purchases, let's say you're making a really big purchase.
Yes.
It's likely that you're going to be doing your own research beforehand, whether that's reading reviews, seeing what other competitors are doing. Like B2B buyers are doing that same thing. Yeah. Which is where digital sales rooms sort of come into play. And digital sales rooms are providing an opportunity now for you, a sales rep, or a CSM, like vendors, to collaborate digitally with their audience, with their prospects, with their customers, throughout this buying journey. And I can show you Sales Assist and how we do it with our tool.
Yeah, let's do it. That sounds exciting.
Okay. Great. So I used to use this all the time. I started at Uberflip as a BDR, and I used to use this every day, and I still use it all the time, and it's a really, really great tool. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if you can see.
Yep.
Okay, amazing. Okay, so I'm all set to create a digital sales room for you there. So I'm working out of Gmail right now. This is typically where I work out of. Doesn't interrupt my day-to-day flow. So typically what we see when reps are sending content or when people are sending content are these blue and white, like these blue links here. And there's a couple of hitches with this. First is that, these are a bunch of different destinations that your prospect now has to, go back to consume this content. Two is you as the rep, you're not getting insight into what they're actually clicking on, what they're engaging with. So you don't really know what's relevant to them. And third is, it's not super visually appealing. So with Sales Assist, we can sort of wave goodbye to these blue and white links.
And I'd say there's another important one. You're sort of assuming I know what I need to go grab. I'm, half the time, most organizations, I don't even know what to start with. And so I'm guessing a lot.
Yeah, that's a huge one. So I'm going to go ahead and create digital sales room. But first I want to point out is, our little flip bot here. So this is a Chrome extension. The nice thing about this is, this means that your reps, your CSMs, they can use Sales Assist wherever they're comfortable. So it's not disrupting their day-to-day workflow. It's not another place that they have to go to send these rooms out.
That's cool.
So I'm going to go ahead and create a digital sales room for you. And now I can start to layer in that personalization. So, I can add things like heading. I can add a personalized message. There's some content. Here, this is a nifty feature where you can actually link this to an account in Salesforce. And cool. Moreover that you can, actually link it to an opportunity ID. Mm-hmm. And so I'll pause here and just have you think about the visibility there, not only for you as a rep, but for senior leadership and management as well.
Totally.
Right. Another neat feature is adding a use case. Now, this is really nifty when it comes to like internal reporting. Now here, once I click templates, this is where we start to see that alignment between sales and marketing. So these are templates pre-populated with content that your marketing team creates, right? So some of our clients strike gold by creating these for specific verticals, for, maybe it's product specific, maybe it's for an event. There's multiple ways to do this. I'm going to pick what is Uberflip in this instance and go ahead and click create new room. Okay, so you can see the items that it was pre-populated with. I'm going to give this a quick preview so you can see what this looks like.
That's cool.
Pretty cool. Right? You're seeing the Uberflip logo. I'm seeing the Iron Horse logo. This Glyphicon you can change out. We're also seeing that title, that header, and that personalized message, and then the relevant content based on our conversation. So content that's relevant to you. Another call out is a direct call to my Calendly or Chili Piper. So, you can book a meeting with me directly if you have questions based on, something that we chatted about, or if something comes up, you can book a meeting with me directly. And then a face to the name.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm not done. I'm going to add a few more pieces. So I'm going to go back to this tab, and I'm going to start to add some content. Again, like really add another layer of personalization here. So here, one thing I want to call out is how this content is laid out. So Jason spoke a little bit about, tags, and I think you spoke about tags as well. So you can see how our marketing team has segmented content, which makes for me as a rep, it makes it really easy for me to pick what I want to send out. So I'm going to add some favorites. These are, it's kind of like a shopping experience.
Yeah, very easy and in line. And does the library that's available to reps sort of is that that's still configured by the marketing team? So you are curating the content, so they're only seeing what's available that you want them to see rather than grab anything at random.
Exactly. So everything that I'm sharing is fully marketing approved. It's fully marketing. They're fully baked marketing assets.
Awesome.
Right. And again, that's core to our value proposition is your story is only as good as how consistent it can be. So using Uberflip as that central backbone, if you will, for your storytelling through your content is a great way to ensure not just that consistency, but encourage that collaboration across the entire funnel. You can see, with pages within the core platform, we have very robust tools for marketers who kind of need that level of flexibility. But for salespeople who are busy day to day, we have this thin client through Sales Assist that lets you accomplish much of the same thing with much less time.
Okay, so we've added some extra items. Another neat feature is the ability to add section heading. You could start to split up this digital sales room. So I can add a heading for customer stories. And I know, Uzair, you mentioned, one of the issues was you don't know what's relevant to you, which link to click, what to look at. So you can solve that problem with section headers as well. So maybe I'm speaking to a large buying committee, but Uzair, this section is going to be relevant to you and your role.
Yep.
I'm going to put some content underneath that, right? And then if I go back into that room, and I refresh this page, you can see, the room changes immediately. That's
awesome. And now that I've created this, assume that I have, back to kind of the original question that I had for Jason. I'm a rep. I like this structure, right? I want to sort of use a similar framework for, can this be saved as a template, or do I have to sort of set this up? It's configurable, so I have to do it every time, or can I just reuse the same template and change it the next time I use it? Because this is great. This is so easy for me to build it, but I likely will reuse it.
Yeah, you can create your own templates in here.
Okay, awesome.
Right?
This is so easy.
Very easy. And what's great about it is now I'm going to share it. And we spoke about those, those blue links that we see. And this is much cleaner. Now I'm going to send, maybe I want to send a banner image with logos or an image with text or just a tile image. Right? And something neat that sales reps can use is you can actually see the click-through rates and the different ways to share this. So I can see here, maybe I want to use image and text because I have more success with this sending it this way. So I'm going to go ahead and copy it, and I'm going to send it to you. And we've eliminated those blue links, and now it's one central place that you and I can collaborate.
And every time, I'm assuming from an analytics perspective, as soon as I open and I'm doing stuff, I'm getting, the sales rep is getting notifications and Salesforce or through you guys saying, hey, this activity is happening, and so on and so forth.
Exactly. You're going to get immediate email notifications, and then you can actually click into, let me share my screen one more time.
So while you're doing this, so that I don't come across as being creepy, and because I'm just so antsy and eager to close this deal. I'm like, hey, Christina, like Christina is calling me. He's like, hey, Uzair, man, I saw you open this email that I sent, or you saw this stuff. Like, what are your best practices for not only personalizing the experience that you are having the reps deliver, but sort of humanizing the follow-up that happens as a result of this engagement?
Well, so if you think about the nature of what we've just done there, the nature of how Uberflip manages your content, almost by definition, we help you humanize, decreepify that interaction, because once Christina sends you that message, not only will she get a notification if you were to open the email, but more importantly, we get specific data and specific notifications around what piece of that page that she created you engaged with. So maybe it's the explainer video that you engaged with. Then that follow-up can be not just just the typical, I just wanted to follow up on my message from a week ago, but it can be, you know what, look, I saw that there was some value in what I sent you, and specifically it looks like you were looking at this particular topic. Let's dig into that. Let's dive into it, and then maybe I can give you some more of the same topic, or I can just elaborate in person.
So one interesting question, like based on what you just said, Jason, like, I did this and I'm going to follow up with you on something else. Are you also enabling through kind of what Christina showed? If someone clicked on the explainer video, here are the plausible next steps in terms of the journey. Like, is that also being fed as a next best action structure to the reps? Like, again, back to marketing is pretty good because they've spent time on thinking about the journey and the persona. Reps are in the heat of it. So how are you all helping the reps further that conversation? Is that, again, they have everything they can do, or are you enabling any playbooks for them as a marketer?
Really, that's more sort of boils down to process in that way. From a raw data, raw information perspective, one of the things that Christina showed is we can feed information back into your CRM, back into Salesforce, so that you can have a record within your system of record of where those engagement points have been. The other thing structurally that we offer is something else that Christina showed, which was the tagging structure. If you recall, within the tagging structure, we have kind of a hierarchy in our tags. We have the top of the tagging hierarchy, which would be the tag group. In this case, something like maybe funnel stage could be an option. And then below that, as the child to that funnel stage tag group, would be tags like, prospect, account, or, education, whatever your structure is. So by combining those two things, those two pieces of information, and giving them and making them accessible to sales reps, then you can see, again, kind of the more nuanced version of what I should talk about in the next conversation, because I know my prospect through Salesforce, through my CRM, is at this stage. It looks like the content engagement is validating that. Let me take the next step to the next stage or to the next topic.
It's really awesome. I love the fact that how easily it facilitates the marketing to sales. Handoff is a wrong term, sort of collaboration. I think really what it is, it helps you collaborate better. And I think what you've done is made it, the things that I'm loving about it is, one, it's in line in the platform that I live in. I use Gmail. And so I'm using there as a plugin. It's available to me. I love the simplicity of the searchability part. I love the sort of the visualization of those components, so they are not just buried as random long links that don't mean anything to me. So I think it's just like, it just, again, as you said, humanized the engagement, made it more powerful, and hopefully gave me more intelligence as a rep as the engagement path of my conversation furthers with my prospect. So yeah, super excited about kind of what you're showing. Any parting thoughts, anything else you guys want to tell our audience today that we may have not covered?
Oh, that's a tough one. You know what? I think there's tons that we haven't covered. We would encourage you to check out our website, get in touch with Christina, myself, or any one of our account reps who'd be happy to help you. We very much just scratched the surface. But at the end of the day, if you think that you could have room for improvement with the relevance of, the story you're trying to tell, the content you're providing, and the distribution of your content as part of your marketing strategy, then Uberflip should be one of your stops in investigating tools.
That's awesome. Well, I want to thank both of you for taking the time today. I hope the audience today kind of found it useful. I know I'm excited. I know I'm going to go talk to my marketing team about how we can use this, because it's just so simple. And I think that's kind of what we are trying to do, is just make things easy for the teams to collaborate in further conversations and simplify the customer experience for our prospects and customers. So thanks again, and appreciate your time.